Good afternoon, and how are you this afternoon? And welcome once again to Tenny Miller Live, your program, the People's Program, coming to you live from the studios of Creativity and Communication and Flex FM Television. We are nestled there in the contours of the, what do you call it now? Coral Gardens. Just ahead, it's just across from Iron Shore. We have a nice studio facility here. And as soon as you're able to we are able to bring you in studio so you can get a chance to do a tour. We'll be able to share it with you. We are broadcasting live out of Jamaica into the Jamaican diaspora, so that Jamaicans abroad can stay there and get a fulsome view and understanding, or a much deeper understanding exactly what goes on here and what are some of the things that are going on here in Jamaica, how it's affecting your relatives and your friends here, your family, and how it impacts, you know, the kind of impact, and then you will be able to see the kind of impact it is having on you there and the rest of us here. So it's to let you see what's happening a yard while you're abroad, and to get your responses and your interactions and your comments. And as always, one thing we ask you to do is to make sure that you send us an email to tennymillerlive@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to take your messages, your concern, and your recommendations, and then we beg your pardon, you know, give some responses to it. So let me see now. We are tracking a massive, today we're going to give you an overview of exactly what are some of the things happening here in Jamaica, a yard while you're abroad. Today we are going to be tracking the massive data shift defining our island at this time. We'll cover historic 9.5% national drop in serious crimes, contrasted of course against a sharp murder spike in St. Catherine. Some contradictions there. We'll also analyze the 3.9 magnitude earthquake that shocked Kingston on Sunday, while at the same time, one of our upper house, beg your pardon, the Senate, unloaded a $5 million aviation penalty update on the people at the aviation department, and the Bank of Jamaica rising post-hurricane inflation warning, plus many other things. Right? We will go for a quick break, and when we get back, we'll go straight into this. Soon come. We begin with a dramatic split in the island's security numbers. Mid-year, a matrix from the Jamaica Constabulary Force revealed that serious crime nationwide have plummeted by nearly a fifth or one-fifth. National murders are down 23%, and shootings have dropped 27%, which are great numbers and are welcome numbers. Yet, the St. James Police Division remains locked into a localized turf war. Despite the national showing the national figure, St. James is having an issue, turf war. Logging a 25% increase in homicides, gang fragmentation and lottery scamming, and that kind of country continues to keep the fire. volatile despite national progress. So these are things that in St. James, SSP Samuels and the members of his team have on their hands to try to see if they can find the best way to try to deal with these challenges. Now, in other news, earthquake report and the aviation overall. Now, UWI's seismograph chart will show you that nature gave us a quick jolt on Sunday morning. The UWI earthquake unit confirmed a 3.9 magnitude earthquake that rattled Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine over the weekend. The epicenter, of course, was struck near Golden Spring at a depth of 12 kilometers. Thankfully, no structural damage or injuries have been reported. Now, I just want to give you a quotation from, because the Gleaner today carries up a whole center spread on the business of earthquakes and what are likely, because remember, you cannot predict an earthquake. You just have to prepare yourself so that if and when it comes, you're in a position to be able to manage and to deal with it. But it's not something that you're able to seriously predict. Jamaica sits in an active seismic zone, and while earthquakes cannot be predicted, their impact can be reduced with knowledge and preparation. Understanding why earthquakes happen, understanding why earthquakes happened here and what past events have taught us, and how to respond before, during, and after earthquake can save lives and reduce damages at home, at work, and of course, wherever you are and in your communities. So there is a center spread which speaks to various techniques and methods on how to be able to prevent yourself or how to deal with earthquake if and when it strikes, and how to be able to respond to that kind of a sudden attack from nature in a very fundamental way. You can take a look at this.
Jamaicans are being encouraged to familiarize themselves with what to do in the event of an earthquake. The call comes as Jamaica's regional neighbors Venezuela struggles from the fallout from two killer quakes. Details in this report. Venezuela is in ruins. Two earthquakes seconds apart flattened hundreds of buildings. So far, 1,450 people have died. Another 70,000 people are missing. Jamaica's local government minister Desmond McKenzie has taken note of the death, trauma and displacement.
And to express to them our condolences and pray for the best for the people of Venezuela.
For him, the event is a sobering reminder to Jamaicans. Many warnings have been felt since 2024.
And as a country, over the last 2.5 years, we have had more than 300 felt earthquakes in this country. Over the last 3 years. And I don't believe we are honestly talking enough about what an earthquake can do for Jamaica.
An acceptance also that locally not enough discussions take place about what persons should do in the event of an earthquake, which is why, while addressing clergymen and congregation members in Westmoreland, he called on pastors to help spread the word.
And I would want the pulpit in our churches to be used to speak to your congregation about your personal role in disaster preparedness.
The local government minister was speaking at the final ceremony to present checks to churches to help with cleanup work post-Melissa.
So we have to maintain the values of our church. And again, we make no apologies for supporting the church in whatever way we can as a government. And that is why I announced an additional $50 million will be provided to cover the parishes of Clarendon and St. Ann that were affected by the passage of Hurricane Melissa.
And staying with earthquake-related matters, because the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, says a minor earthquake was felt in sections of eastern Jamaica at approximately 11:45 Sunday morning. According to the earthquake unit at Uwimona, the magnitude 3.9 earthquake was centered about 5 kilometers northeast of Golden Spring in St. Andrew. The tremor was reportedly felt across Kingston, St. Andrew, and parts of St. Catherine. ODPEM says there are no reports of damage or injuries, while assessments continue with parish disaster coordinators and emergency response partners. The agency is also reminding Jamaicans that earthquakes occur without warning and is encouraging the public to remain prepared. Persons who felt the quake are also being urged to submit reports to the earthquake unit to assist with seismic monitoring.
Miss Angelina Mondrain wants the bodies of her son, niece, and nephew to be pulled from the rubble of her flattened beachfront apartment. She has spent several minutes of the very past days. I beg your pardon, let me read that again. She has spent several minutes of the past 6 days waiting for the heavy machinery needed to remove the slabs of concrete and twisted metals that have trapped her family beneath the rubble. So, as other Venezuelans try to recover and try to deal with the shock and trauma, right? Persons are kind of a concern as to what's happening with the leadership of Venezuela. How is that leadership taking charge? And for a country which has promoted itself as socialist and have the ability to deal with various levels of preparation for natural disasters such as this and others, they are now caught in a very difficult situation because the preparation methodology of the country apparently was not at its best, and the kind of a direction which is expected to be coming from the political leadership is there now in abeyance, for want of a better term. The United States is there assisting, while the nature of the thing is of such a magnitude that whatever is happening now is not happening enough and they need more support. There are those persons who are thinking that the earthquake is not just an ordinary earthquake, but it could be something that have been man-made or man-generated. I don't know. You can talk about conspiracy theorists and theorizers, whatever you want to say, but then there are some things which some people haven't put past some countries. Because if you take out the leader and you take charge of the oil, you want to be able to find a way to keep those potential insurgents or persons who will get involved with insurgency to be occupied with something else, which will give you enough time to be able to work out your strategy as to how to really manage these people, if you manage them at all properly. So I don't know, there are different kind of thinking on it, you know, and I won't speculate because I really don't know anything about, you know, seismographic matters that has to do with the earthquake, and just that I have not put the capacity and the ability past powerful nations and countries and organizations to be able to do anything that they want to do to achieve their own objective. Meanwhile, in the Garden House of Jamaica, the senators passed a high-stakes overhaul of the Civil Aviation Act. to safeguard our airspace and protect our FAA Category 1 status. Because, you know, we are part of the International Federation of Aviators. Driven by it as a document that was piloted in the House or in the Senate by Minister of Education and Information, Dr. Dana Morrison Dixon. The bill massively scales up financial penalties. On the old maximum fine for dangerous flying, you know, remember when Tennyson Penn was there and we had the aviation school and things were going on and so on. They said that old dangerous flying cost was like what? $20,000. That's a fine. And at that time, they thought $20,000, wow, a lot of money. $20,000 is what those people from St. Andrew, you know, giving their son and daughter to buy lunch at school most days. The new maximum fine for dangerous flying is now $5 million. Primary objective, maintain international compliance and prevent airspace routine. I beg your pardon, to prevent, I beg your pardon, let me read that again. Is to maintain international compliance and to prevent airspace route destruction, any kind of a possible accident or, you know, of one sort or the other. So the fine has moved from 20,000 to 5 million. That was a bill piloted by the Minister of Information in Parliament recently. So we see what happens. But I have not heard much from the Jamaica aviation people and that department, and we see what's happening there and what's going on there. So we need to hear some more from them. Now, let us look at what else is happening on the program here today, and we should be standing by to get a call from somebody from the Small Business Association, because the Small Business Association is putting on a major conference. And of course, we want to know that we are able to assist, participate, and learn as much as we can, and to find out what are the opportunities that might be out there available. World Cup special success and other things that are taking place. Now, football's biggest stage, the 2026 FIFA World Cup, continues to deliver non-stop drama across North America as the knockout rounds heat up. The group phase, the United States safely advanced following a strong performance, including their round of 32 clashes against Bosnia and Herzegovina, traditional powerhouse like Germany, Brazil, France, Mexico, have impressed, while surprises and heartbreaks mark several campaigns. I hear that there was a local Gere held for the German team as they were sent home. And of course, our beloved Brazil, which is dear to the heart of many Jamaicans, you know, seem to have gone home. So I don't know what's the story with Argentina and Britain and the rest of persons who will be coming on screen. Of course, Mr. Messi, who is now playing for the United States. No, Argentina, yeah, I beg your pardon, Argentina is still a threat. And some people are still trying to find ways to see if they can outdo Argentina. But Britain seems to want to be able to put their head into the game, and let us see what comes out of the various matches that will run for the next 5 to 6 days. I know France, Mexico have impressed, while surprises and heartbreaks marked several campaigns. The real fairy tale story of the region belongs to Curacao, though, you know. How that little country, and a country which the Jamaican team thought was perhaps not as good as they were, came to Jamaica and beat them on the grounds, on their own grounds. They make their historic World Cup debut. The Blue Wave earned their first ever point in a heroic 0-0 draw against Ecuador, with goalkeeper Eloy Room making a staggering 15 saves to equal an all-time tournament record, despite heavy defeats to Germany 1-7 and Ivory Coast 2-0. Their resilience captured global attention. They are proven that they are a force to be reckoned with, and they might not fall within the ambit of the line 1 to 10 or line 1 to 7. But their level of demonstration, commitment to the task and to the game has demonstrated that, listen, they're not a walkover, they're not a pushover, they're somebody to contend with. This is the Tenny Miller Live Show. I'm coming to you live from the studios here of our station, nestled in the hills of Coral Gardens in Montego Bay. And we will be going to a short break as soon as we hear from our special guest who will be speaking to us today. Now, I understand that international analysts are still asking, why are the Reggae Boys dominating discussions when the senior squad isn't in the main tournament, but the junior squad, right? The junior squad is making Jamaica proud and making themselves proud. Commentators are frequently highlighting Jamaica as the tournament's great missing storyline. The Reggae Boys and the Jamaica seem to be a part of the tournament's missing storyline. With the expanded 48 team format and the big three hosts qualifying automatically, this was seen as Jamaica's golden opportunity. But JFF, over to you. You tell us what went wrong, how, when, where, and why. We're still waiting to hear from the president and those, what do you call it now? Those important people associated with the JFF who have been there for years, and they know what the team needs and they know what the challenges are, and they are there profiling while the team go the way of our flesh. Now, just take a look at this.
So Jamaica's national under-17 Reggae Boys are surprisingly just 1 point away from qualifying for the World Cup. Veteran youth coach Wendell Dowswell looking to participate in a third under-17 World Cup appearance, joining the 1999 and the 2011 successes. Of course, the young boys will have to go out and avoid defeat against regional bigwigs, Canada, in the last group game to complete the mission. But again though, the performance of this under-17 team shows that Jamaica tends to be much more consistently competitive at this level, even against bigger, much better resource teams across the region. But the further the age group ladder we go, the gap begins to widen. And the bigger and better resource teams like the USA, Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, they begin to pull away from Jamaica. So whether we win, lose or draw this Canada game, we need to seriously examine that reality and fix it.
The under-17 Reggae Boys are keeping the football legacy alive, having officially qualified for the FAA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar this November, after a strong campaign including a decisive 3-1 victory over Canada. The young boys, the under-17 boys, we must give them all the love, support, and kudos. We hope that whoever is the coach and that small management team make sure that whatever the methodology that you use to keep the discipline, the consistency, and the fixity of purpose, somehow you make sure that continues, and hope that the reggae boys, the national team, will take something from the lessons of this junior team. And I hope those people who are in the seat of control also will begin to see where the errors and the mistakes are, and begin to, put some new life into JFF, because my God, we know we need it. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we are going to be talking to a special guest this afternoon from the SBAJ. Soon come. This is Tenny Miller Live. Welcome back. This is Tenny Miller Live coming to you from the studios of Flex TV and Tenny Miller Live online platform. Now, we're hoping to have somebody from the Small Business Association join us because we want to be able to speak to what's going on out there in the sector and what are the challenges that small business people are having, and what are the institutions, financial and otherwise, out there to be able to facilitate them. What is government doing for them, if anything, and how they plan to deliver that to the sector. Remember, it is micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. The SBAJ, which is the Small Business Association of Jamaica, is putting on a special one-day conference, almost like a semi-symposium, to look at the sector and to get participants from across the sector out there, small and medium-sized business people, to come to the Pegasus Hotel on the 16th of July for a full one-day conference to look at some of these challenges and to have a discussion as to how they are prepared to work with the sector to facilitate them, but equally to take information from those persons who are participants in the sector, people who have been doing this business for years, and should be able to get some word from them as to what is it that they're looking for and they're expecting. So they're expected to hear a little bit, I hope, not just a little, but substantially from the people in the sector so that they can get a clear understanding exactly what these people want, where they're going, or what the anticipated support and benefit looks like. A lot of persons have expressed their concern that they hope this exercise is not a talk shop. And I know the president and the secretary, especially the secretary, is very adamant with Mr. Kevin Frick. Mr. Frick is adamant that he will not want to be presiding over a talk shop organization. So therefore, the conference is one of the first pillars in a restructured SBAJ, Small Business Association, and to deal with action, because what he's concerned about is not the talk but action, not a bagamow. He's concerned about how people want retooling and what are the means and facilities and the machineries and where you can access it, and how they'll be able to facilitate small and medium people to access whatever the tools they need for retooling or whatever equipment and stuff that they will need. The whole business of financing and all the micro, which is a service sector, or some of them have a service sector in particular, can be financed and facilitated to be able to maintain some amount of strength, some amount of integrity, and to really put themselves in a position to grow. I am not sure, and if it is not there, I hope that it is going to be there, because there are organizations out there that are facilitating the micro sector, keeping them afloat. And I don't think the SBAJ or even any one of those government organizations, whether the Ministry of Commerce and Business, understand the strength and magnitude of the money that passes through that sector on a weekly basis, the micro sector. And those people with their small business, whether it's a loody board business or it's a, little stall, those little businesses across the country and across the island amounts to millions of dollars on the ground, and it's not a part of the formal economy, but a part of the informal economy. And that's millions of dollars, if not billions. And it's how we facilitate, how we harness, and how we provide them with the requisite tools and support systems so that they can prosper and they can become not just effective but efficient and successful, so that they can facilitate their desires and their hearts. They can take care of their children, because some people out of those liquor stores send them son to university and them daughter to high school and bury somebody here and find time to celebrate a birthday or the graduation or the coming of age or coming up or some amount of important achievement in a family. And when they have to do all those kind of celebrations and expectations and spending, which is something that they should do, because they are people, they're human beings, and they're growing, and they have to, spend the time alone just trying to work and not finding a way to, put other things in place. What is important is that we have to take stock of what's going on in that segment. And I hope they will bring to the table, as part of the discussion, some people who are into the microloan sector. There are several of them out there. You have somebody like, a number of them I understand. There's one called Torpedo and several others. And these are organizations who are coming to the rescue of some of these little micro people. The bank's not looking at them and giving them the big money and everything, but these people want the 20,000 to pay back, to borrow back 20,000 to pay back, or the 30,000, or the 5,000, or the 100,000. And these people are borrowing money against their credibility, their own personal character, and their family's good name, because they don't have the wherewithal to give you a land title and to do those things. But we have to look at how the sector is facilitated in a greater sense. The powers that be have got to be able to facilitate more windows of opportunity for them to be able to acquire tools and equipment. Those men with a little walker, the walker is costing what? 60 or 70 or 100,000, I don't know, varying prices from some of these people who have these tools and equipment places. They have to find a window whereby somebody can be facilitated to bring down some of those tools at a cheap price so a man can get a good worker. And think, you want $15,000 and $20,000 and it not cost him a mortgage. Rather them have to mortgage out him soul or him, children, them future, just to find the 60 or 80 or 100,000 to pay for this big worker. So we need to look at how the dynamics should change and can change. So I'm hoping that the Small Business Association, in their deliberations, consider and understand that we need to hear from the people in the microsector themselves. We need to hear from the people them into the small business sector themselves. We want to hear from the people in the medium sector themselves. Let them get the microphone. Let them tell you what their nightmares are, what their dreams and desires are, what their daily struggles are. And some of them will tell you how the solution can be if we will listen to them. Because it would have been a defeat if we have a big conference. And at the end of the day, those small people, those micro people, don't get a chance to say, here I am, Allah, in that august presence. So unless the children of slaves and those people who are followers of Marcus Garvey and these people who are trying to move this country, Jamaica land we love, from yards of wood and draws of water, but to put us as part of the main players in the economy. Because the small people have helped the economy for running up. And the big man, them with the 10 million and the 50 million. Because most of them money, they are Miami and Cayman and all them places. But it's the little people, them. The little people, them. The children and grandchildren of slaves. Small people. They are the ones. It was after slavery. It was a peasantry that turned the economy at this place around. It wasn't the governor and him people them and the so-called aristocrats. It was the farmers and the peasants and the ironmongers and the blacksmiths and the bush cutters. They are the ones, when they go up in the hills to plant them apple and banana and thing and come down to the marketplace to sell and got the business of commerce to take shape and was facilitating some of those same merchants buying from them. So we have to see how, if we're talking about rebuilding and moving the economy forward, we have to support the leadership and give them the strength and share the part of your suffering, your concern, your care, and your vision with them so that they all become one. So they are not supporting or facilitating something for big people. But we're moving the small business, the micro business, the small farmer, the half acre, the quarter acre. The man will just dip on a piece of square land where him lease 1-2 square. And him plant him callaloo, and him plant him pepper, and him plant him tomato, and him onion, and then I mingle time him girlfriend or him wife raise 2 chicken in the corner in one cub, and him make sure him buy 1 goat for him son, we say go put you out a money time and come back. And the various elements of the family is contributing towards how we survive and to create a business and a livelihood. And to help to stay afloat and to help to keep the economy afloat in that process. So, the vision of Mr. Fritt must be noted and supported. And we hope that the leadership of Mr. Reid falls within tandem of them. And there are 3 giants at the top. You have Mr. Fritt, you have Mr. Reid, and you have the outstanding former Senator Norman Grant, who understands the gamut of the agricultural industry, from one cow farmer to big coffee farm. And we hope that those men at that level find a way to harness the strength, the skills, the power, the support, and determination of the micro people, the little people, so that this organization, the Small Business Association of Jamaica, becomes center stage. So when the minister go foreign and they might carry whole people from Chamber of Commerce and might carry people from big company, the plane must have 6 or 7 hecklers are people who are small micro people, so that they can go and learn some new things about best practices in other places. Give them the challenge to say, listen, what is it that you want as a sector, service people, and so on. Come together, determine who your representatives are, to go work with the people at the Small Business Association, and you must be able, and not only with minister, but the SBAJ must lead its own deputation or delegation to other countries, to form alliances in Africa. Because Uncle Sam next door not too much, we more answer. And we don't know we're going to get much out of them. Because if them are going so now, and the tree half green, can you imagine when it dry? We suck salt out of wooden spoon. They must send back people here and them want dump for them people, them don't want pound here now. And the next thing and if we say so, they're going to start to dump, send back some of the people from over there to here. So there are a lot of things that we have to think through, And the government and the organization has got to say, what if we're going to have a fallout from that side, how we are going to survive on this side. If them have fresh coal, what kind of pneumonia or Ebola are going to take we? So to be forewarned is to be forearmed. We have to prepare ourselves. We have to strengthen the sector. We have to give them a place to function and to survive. We have to facilitate them with opportunities and resources. We have to get action. And I understand that there are like about a $35 million or $35 billion out there, which is sector should be able to benefit from. And I say wonderful. And I say great. But one of the things we have to say, when we all say that, if you're going to make the money becomes too far up in at the top of the tree for the small man them to reach it, to access it, and you're going to tie them by them navel string or by them nuts to pay back, then we're going to have a problem in this country. We're going to have a problem in this country. Because right now, rain a fall and the dirty tough. Pot a cook, but the food not enough. And our people have demonstrated the capacity to hold strain. Beyond when you should have stop hold strain. But like Rudyard Kipling says, to hold on when there's nothing there to hold on to, accepting just the will that says, let me hold on. And our small and microsector people have been holding on. They did it. As one old lady said, they always did it. They had Dideism. So, this organization's conference cannot be a talk shop. And Mr. Fritt and Mr. What's his name say, it is not, must not be a talk shop. And it must not be a center for people to profile. Because if most of the time the conference is taken up with all big people and we don't have enough small people come into the center of the stage, we would have defeated the purpose. The purpose will be defeated if we have too much high profile people there and not enough of the small people to say and hear. The organization need to hear from their members. And the conference must be a conference for the members to hear, to listen. And you share thoughts and ideas and take instructions from the membership to say, listen, we are going in this direction and we are going to work together with this. And if government is now hearing a little bit and want to facilitate something, government must understand, say, not put too much roadblock and stumbling block in the people in way. Because when a mother take a little loady board and sci-fi it out, with maybe 2 chicken in at the back of the yard, or maybe 1 goat, or 1 calf, and send 2 or 3 children to school. And from there, so they send them to high school. And one of them gets scholarship to go pass exam, and they can go to university. If you go get ton smaddy. We must not frustrate that. Then a born with silver spoon in their mouth. Them not have access to people, then we can have access to capital and a big land and something. Then them can deal with some things there, so. But government who most of who vote for them are the loady board and the, roadside stall people them. And them vote for government, and them give them power, And them put big jacket MP and Bose frack senator and MP. They enjoy the so much $1 million a year for walk up and down Duke Street and add to their own personal history and ambition, They look a load board and they look a back street, they look a handcart man and they're higgler. And the people that some of us look down on or don't want to sit beside. Them are the people with the power, And we have to give them the respect and the support. Government must understand that they are the people who are their bosses. And them have to answer the people, the people they call first. Not just the big people, them who make the big fat donation. And that's why in this country, we need to look at legislation to deal with how you finance political parties. That's another issue. You know? Because the very development, the very growth, the very survival of this microsector, the handcart man, the little load board businesswoman or man, and the little roadside shack and the coconut man. We have to find a way to finance political parties, because if we allow the parties, whether PNP or JLP, to be hijacked by the Mr. So-and-so and Miss this and that, or this company that will donate 5 million and 10 million to the party or to the individual candidates, then when the election done, that's why we have a repeat of the suffering and the discord and the, you know, and it just keep continuing the kind of a way how politicians treat people and citizens and their constituents. We need to find a way to fix that. A system of recall is also something that should be involved in that, whereby when a member of parliament or a councillor is not supporting and dealing with the interests of his majority of the people in his constituency or his or her division, they must be able to move a motion at a meeting or in the parish council or at a community forum to say, listen, we the members of the Joint Citizens and Committee Association have lost faith in Tom Stokes and Harry Jane as member of parliament or as councillor, and we therefore ask him or her forthwith to resign and ask for anybody else to offer themselves up in leadership. Say what they are going to do and how they are going to do it, and let us give an assessment and see whether or not we'll be able to use them. I'm not going to go further than that. Just want to say congratulations to the small business. I hope they are preparing a very robust and healthy conference, and I hope they are going to focus on their membership, the core membership of the organization, so that those people can, when they leave the conference at the Pegasus on the 16th, they can say, well done, good and faithful servant, in whom I'm well pleased. Otherwise than that, the organization, you know, trust me, you're going to get a slap in your face, and it's going to be a long time before you recover. Until I join you again, Lord Tenny Miller saying, you sleep the sleep of the just, free from all your cares and sorrows, and as your night turns to day, as indeed it must, may you wake to a brighter tomorrow. You walk good.
At this time, we want to welcome you all to this very special press launch as we seek to transform the small business sector commitment from the Small Business Association of Jamaica.
Good morning. Members of the media, partners, government representative, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. And I must also acknowledge our small business leaders also here with us today. It is my great pleasure to welcome you today as we officially launch the SBAJ Growth and Resilience Conference 2026, scheduled July 16, 2026, right here at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. This conference aims to strengthen Jamaica's micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise, which is the backbone of the Jamaican economy. We expect over 400 business leaders, policymakers, financial institutions, and development partners all coming together to share, acknowledge, build network, and unlock opportunities.
I would like to present our keynote speaker, Mrs. Bennett Templer, CD, PS in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. God bless us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for those other speakers who have agreed that I could move ahead quickly. I very much appreciate it. Today's launch could not be more timely as Jamaican businesses navigate an increasingly competitive and rapidly changing environment. Growth and resilience have become essential pillars of long-term success. And so I want to applaud the SBAJ for the theme of the conference and for the 3 pillars of the conference, because those are really areas that will help to propel Jamaican small businesses forward. We spoke about the importance of the MSME sector in terms of driving innovation, strengthening communities. Mr. Bodan spoke about the spend in the communities that happens through these businesses and the important contribution that small businesses make to national development. I think the conference is well placed. It's obviously well thought through in terms of the areas that are being opened and the partnerships that are engaged here, all of these partners who are engaged here. It shows that you're doing the right thing at the right time and that you're bringing everyone to the table. And so I know the program is a little long, but it's important that all the partners get an opportunity to speak. So I think that is well done as well. MIIC fully supports the MSME sector. And we have tried very much, President, to be there with you every step of the way as you have sought to support the MSME sector as well.
Mr. Kevin Fritt, who is our secretary. Can we just put our hands together?
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Kevin Fritt, the SBAJ secretary. I'm also the chairman of membership. And to put it in a very simple way, is under the leadership of President Reid, the SBAJ is ensuring that in addition to the excessive talking all these years about different things to benefit small businesses, it is time for action and a real solution. And we are taking the lead at SBAJ to bring all the relevant players together and to ensure that small businesses move forward as the Jamaican economy depends on it. While our membership is on record is about 750, generally it's about 420 something thousand registered small businesses across the island. And the work of the SBAJ benefits not just our members, but the wider small business community. And this conference on July 16 is one to, I'd say, start to get things going for the sector in the right way, and that we can see real growth and development in the economy, because the more small businesses strive, is the more Jamaica move forward.
Agro Invest. We're in the booth of Agro Invest at the Diaspora Conference, and I'm happy to run into one of the new directors who is going to be charting the way for the full development and and proliferation of the agricultural sector, not just across Jamaica but internationally, because it's a sector that is charged with the responsibility to grow the economy. Mr. Angus,
How you do, sir?
how you do?
I'm good. Thanks for stopping by.
The pleasure is mine, and I'm so
Yes.
happy I run into you at this time, because I hear them move you from one part of government and then put you over here. So I say, what you're a performer, so come perform over here, so.
Well, I hope that is the case, and I hope to deliver. I hope to deliver. But I'm in agriculture now.
So what is your full charge with Agro Invest?
So at Agro Invest, I have two roles. So I am the Director of Investment, Export and Market Development.
Oh, Lord.
So now we're going to streamline the investment coming in, which is why we're here. So we're
Right.
trying to encourage everybody to come and look at agriculture. Agriculture is really the largest growing sector for us. And we want more people to look at investing in agriculture, both local and international. And
Okay.
our diaspora will welcome them. On the investment side, we own the agro parks, and we're developing agro parks, and we're charged over by the minister to have agro parks across the entire country. So every
Oh,
parish
no.
should have an agro park.
Okay.
So that would means we have a lot of persons looking at land to really invest in agriculture. Then we're charged with now building the parks in a way where we produce to export. So again, we will now position ourselves to help our farmers find contracts abroad and export.
Okay.
So, and then find new markets as well.
As well,
And
okay.
on the other side, I'm also the general manager for export division.
Oh, Lord.
Which deals with the spices, cocoa, pimento, nutmeg, ginger, turmeric. Again, we're going to look to grow that and look at investment in
Nutraceuticals,
those.
for sure.
Yes, and look at the investment in that area. Cocoa is one of the largest things, and with our fine flavor cocoa, you can imagine
Yes.
there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yes, indeed. Because I know Ghana is having a major thing with cocoa.
Yes.
So therefore, our cocoa is just as good as theirs.
Probably better.
Or probably
better, yes, yes. So we have to now look at how programs, we had some disease problem, how we manage it to the Rada and Jackra and get back the whole operation up and get the production back up.
So Agro Invest, where your concern and your responsibility is going to be leading the way for export agriculture and agricultural development for export in particular.
Yes, yes, yes.
So therefore, what about say they have RADA and they have other parts of the ministry? So more or less they'll be dovetailing within the context of what you're doing somewhat?
Yes, so what happened is all these agents have a different responsibility. So RADA is really the man from agriculture who is the extension officer for all farmers across.
Yes.
Agro Invest is more specific around the agro parks and the facilities that deal with the production within the agro parks. So while RADA has a wider, the door-to-door with every farmer, we are more managing our agro parks and the infrastructure within and grow. But together, we both, because there are also farmers in agro parks.
Yes,
So
yes.
together we work together as partners.
But then the farmers that falls within your jurisdictions are the ones that are particularly growing for export somewhat.
Yeah,
In a sense?
for both local and for
yes.
export. So what we really want to position the parks for with that vast amount of land is larger acreages, specifically aimed to take on big contracts abroad.
What kind of a demand we have for, and what are the things that we have demand for now internationally, so that you will know and have your hands full in terms of making sure that, say, ginger, for example.
Yes.
We want to say put ginger more
So-
in the European market.
So ginger is big. The challenge we have with ginger is the cost per ginger, the cost of producing. So when you to sell it is very expensive. Again, production is important. Larger farms can give you the cost down. So we try to facilitate those larger investments. But then we look at the orchard crops, which are now the growing thing, the ackee, the mangoes, breadfruit. So within the park, we have earmarked hundreds of acres of land that are specifically for those types of crops. So the mangoes for the export. You know, when in New York and Florida, I need a mango.
Yes, you want to go these days and
you
you can't get one.
And then ackee, there's no ackee available right now. So we are looking to get
always
orchards
in demand.
Always in demand. Always in demand. So people call they want 10 containers of ackee for the month. I mean 40-foot containers. And you can hardly do half a container. So the demand is there. So we have the parks, we have the infrastructure in place, and we encourage them to come talk to us. We will give you the land at peppercorn rent, cheap. And you develop them. And we have programs that help to get them through the entire thing.
So you're now saying with your presence here to the diaspora, listen, we have lands.
Yes.
We have expertise.
Yes.
And we're carving out markets.
Yes.
Come and invest.
Come and invest.
What kind of size acreage one can have access? Or depends on my ability
It depends on the ability, because really what we have to do on the other side of managing parks is to ensure that we're giving the lands to persons who can produce.
Oh, that's right.
So we can give up to 100, 200 acres, starting from 5 acres up. But we want to ensure that the persons who are getting these lands, or the group, because there can be collective investment as well. They can have a group. What makes sense is on the diaspora side. If you can get a group who says we need 500 acres to do ackee, and the funding is there, we see where the funding is, and you can bring it to fruition, and we as government will also give our help along the way. Then we'll be ready to, you can access those lands.
What kind of funding you might have available if I say, well, I can find 100,000 US, but then I want to do 250 acres, and so therefore I want to say do breadfruit and or ackee and ginger or something like that.
So a lot of times the funding is not raw cash from us, but this is what it is. We start with the land. The least we give you at is actually way below market value. So you're getting cheap land. We already put the infrastructure in place in most places, and we work with the irrigation to get the cheap water. And then on top of that now, we have agri-park managers who are technical persons who will help you along the way to guide you as to what you've been doing with this stuff. And if by chance we have an influx or a grant of fertilizer, etc., they're also distributed through RADA and so into the parks.
Wonderful.
So there's a lot of help.
So you facilitate a lot of opportunities for growth and development.
For growth, yes. And we fix the road, the drainage, everything within the park just to ensure that you can produce.
And at the same time, on the marketing side, we can depend on you to guide us and point us as to where the markets are.
When it's ready, we know where the markets are. We try to get the contracts directly from other places and say, you produce for here.
What kind of turnaround time we're talking about? Because I don't want to tell me 200,000 and then I spend 2 years and nothing.
So what happens is the orchard crops are more long term. So we expect, you put in your crops now 3 to 5 years before you start to reap. In between, we try to encourage some intercropping. But after 3 years of mango or ackee, you can realize, this is generational wealth we're talking about.
Yes, of course.
100 acres of ackee reaping 2 times a year. It's generational wealth. You just have to maintain, make sure you fertilize, you spray, you keep your trees in tip-top condition. So in the first part, which is where the capital become heavy, to bring it to that level where it grows. And
so you have a heavier capital layout within the first year.
Which is why intercropping, because the trees are small. So intercropping is important, where you can generate something, cash crop in between. While you can support that stuff. Yes, so we try to encourage that.
So you're, for the next 3 days, you're therefore going to be having a lot of appointments and meetings and interactions with diaspora national to say, listen, this is where we are, this is what we have, and come and take advantage.
Come and take advantage. So listen to us, talk to us, tell us what you want to do. Let us see how we can fit you in one of our parks and help you along the way.
In my next program with you, what I will do, because I'm going to have to obviously do a series of programs with you.
We will love
We want to be able to meet with you and follow you to one of the farm, to the agri-park.
We can
We will follow you to an agri-park, and then we see what happens there and see how, so people in the diaspora can see for themselves.
Things are happening.
You understand? If we can get it real time, we get it real time. Otherwise, we record it and send. But certainly so that we can get it live, so people can see it and do a follow-up to the marketplace, to the various windows, so people can see when it starts and when it finishes.
When it finishes, yes, definitely.
Listen, Hunter, it's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
See you around. Great.
So, like I said, one of those persons here who is responsible for really getting government at your service, as well as the other aspects of what government is trying to do in terms of how we do a full transformation of the society together. Her name is Miss Nicole.
Right. I'm the marketing and planning manager.
Marketing planning manager
at the National Identification Registration Authority, formerly the Registrar General's Department, RGD.
You are responsible for marketing and
Planning.
public education and planning.
Exactly. So we, the National Identification Registration Authority, we took over all of what RGD
used to do,
which is birth, death, marriage, adoption. All of the vital events have to still be registered. You apply for your certificates from us. But in addition to that, we are now responsible for the rolling out and the enrollment of persons for the national ID, the national identification, right?
No, what is the legislation that drives this process for you?
I'm not remembering the legislation right now, but we are the entity responsible for the enrollment and the rolling out of the national ID for Jamaica.
Okay. Now, how does this identification program, fine, fits into the many other identification things there's the national voters ID and other things?
So currently, persons have their passport, they have their driver's license, they have their voter's ID.
Right.
And if persons want to do transactions with, say, a bank, the minimum requirement is 2 IDs, and some places require a photograph with a signed and stamped by a JP. Now, a passport is really supposed to facilitate travel. A driver's license is evidence that you are licensed to drive. And a voter's ID is to facilitate voting when we have an election.
Right.
So really and truly, we are not supposed to be using those
for other things
except what they're designated for. And so the national ID will replace the need for persons to be traveling with several IDs to transact regular everyday business with a bank or with different institutions. So instead of having to open a bank account, you have to go with 2 ID, picture signed by a JP. You'll just present your national ID. That's it. So it will.
So once you're a holder of a national ID, then that is like another passport.
But it's a general. It's not specific to travel, to driving, to voting. It's a general national identification that it will be accepted for all transactions.
Yes.
Once you present that, that's all the entity will need from you to verify that you are who you say you are.
Because if I go to Digicel, they say, well, come with 2 IDs or ID for this or that sort of thing. So
and then some places you have to present your TRN, which is another card with another number. So that's 4 if you're counting. Your TRN is actually the number that is on the national ID.
So you don't even have to need another TRN.
So you don't need to travel with a TRN.
Okay.
You just present
so this one ID
card,
is that
it has a TRN number on it, and it will be the number that entities, the ID that entities will use to verify, okay, this is Tom Brown that is standing in front of me, that is here to open a bank account, that is here to this or here to that. They will be able to use that to verify that it is who is in front of them.
So this is the ID that says you're who you are.
Right. So you don't have to be traveling with several IDs and running to find a JP to sign a picture or to sign a this or to sign a that. Your ID will be accepted as being valid. Once the entity, they would be able to log on to a database to verify that it is authentic and verified information on it. The person in front of them, they'll be able to verify it's that person. That's it.
And this ID, you have to be properly processed to get it. So therefore, once you get it, it's not an ID that you can get around the corner.
No. Especially based on what it is printed on, the security features that are embedded in the actual material that makes up the ID. It's not something that you could just go around the corner and print or rustle up. No.
What kind of time framework it takes for you to be able to start and finish your process to get one of these IDs?
Okay, so you can pre-enroll by going on the website www.nira.gov.jm, upload whatever documents are required, answer the questions that are there. if you do that, because you have to come physically into one of our offices to take the photograph, to give your fingerprints, as well as for us to get your signature.
So,
But if you do the online pre-enrollment, then you should be able to get through within 15 to 30 minutes. But if you don't go online and you just come to our office to do the process from start to finish, then it might take a little longer than
A little
that.
longer time.
Right. So we encourage persons go on our website, do the pre-enrollment, so you get that part of it out of the way. So when you come, it's really just to take your picture.
But you have to come in the office to take the picture.
Right.
Would that be an electoral office like you do for the other voters' ID?
It's one of our locations. So currently we have 11 locations island-wide. So you visit one of the 11 locations. So we're scattered in different parishes.
Okay.
And you come to the one that's nearest to you to take your physical picture. We take your fingerprint and your signature.
And it's so that exercise.
The ID is free. And you should be able to get the ID, be able to collect it within 2 weeks after doing
the photograph.
Right.
Within 2 weeks after that.
Right.
Is it sent to you in the mail, or you have to come to the office to pick it up and sign for it?
That you went to do the picture and the thing,
You have to go back there to pick it
But
up.
if you don't want to go to that specific one, you indicate which of the other 11
Yes.
you want to pick it up at.
Send it.
Right. So
Okay.
it will be sent there, you'll be notified it's there, and you go back, you collect it. And it's free of cost.
Jamaicans in the diaspora would love to be able to get hold of this.
Right.
And
We've
also
had a
be
number
to
of
know.
persons at this conference who
Yes.
live here. They're Jamaicans
Yeah,
overseas.
right.
And they've been signing up.
And some want to be able to know how to access this.
Well,
What kind of information is available to them in the diaspora?
So they can go on our website, www.nira.gov.jm, and information is there as to everything that they need to know about the ID is there. It's on the website.
What kind of campaign you plan to put out on in the public space to be able to
We're gonna
get Jamaicans locally to buy into you, because there was some amount of cynicism that surrounds the whole process. So you're going to have a little challenge in really getting, especially to the younger folk, to really get involved with it.
Well, we have a campaign that's planned to go out in using different ways and means to get to different persons, because not everybody listens to the radio, not everybody watches TV,
Right.
not everybody's on social media, not everybody reads the paper. So it's really using different angles to get to different persons. We'll have to be going out in the remote areas, into the actual communities.
Right, you have to
We're going
talk
to
to
be
community.
using the member of parliaments for the different constituencies to assist us in their respective
These constituencies,
divisions and constituencies, along with the councillors. So those, on the ground, getting the word out. We actually, even prior to becoming the National Identification Registration Authority, as a Registrar General's Department, we get invitations daily from schools, from churches, from citizens association, from like a Kiwanis.
People want to know, how do I get my birth certificate and how do I sign it?
They invite us to anything they're having. If they're having a health fair, career day, a meeting, they invite us, and this is island-wide. So we are daily at different locations. So we are also on the ground spreading the word. Okay, you can enroll for your national ID using these different events.
And it's also an opportunity to tie in anything else that your office provides, like the birth certificate issue,
So
or
they're
challenges that some people have with that.
inviting us to come to, because you still, up to this day, have persons who don't have a birth certificate.
Yes, I understand that very well.
So we are still going out and trying to assist with providing persons, because some people, I guess based on where they are, they don't make the effort to go to an office. And some people are not tech savvy because you can apply online on our website. You can apply for a birth certificate online, pay for it online, and we offer delivery at a cost via Tara couriers. So the options are there, but some persons, it's when you take it to them in their community that they say, oh, for me, we need a birth certificate, and then they come and they apply. But if it's left up to them to go on a bus or take a taxi to go to our office, it's not a priority for them.
No.
So when we go into the communities, we're facilitating different transactions: birth application, death, marriage, and the national ID enrollment. So it's a mix, and we're using, as I said, different ways to get the word out that this ID is available. It's free of cost. Enroll so you can get your ID, and it will eliminate you having to be traveling with multiple IDs to transact business.
How would you estimate your support so far?
Well, it's improving. It's
growing.
increasing. It's increasing as each day goes by. More and more people are like, "Oh, can I get the ID? Oh, what I need to do to sign up?" So, and that's like a daily, yeah. So it's increasing as each day goes by.
You find that you have the more mature age group persons signing on more than the younger persons?
I would say it's like a mix, because you do have young people who they have no hesitation and they're like, "Oh, I can get this even universe," because you can get the ID even as a baby.
Okay.
So children, newborn, any age.
We'll be having further discussion with that to see how our program, our facility, will be able to carry the information, assist that process so that we can get as many Jamaicans in the diaspora and around to be able to get locked into the system, and so that this program can be a success as it is hoped that it will be. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the program. Of course, I'm at the Diaspora Conference here in Montego Bay. What this place is called now? Rose Hall, just next door to Annie Palmer's house. And we've been having quite a number of interesting things. The Prime Minister was on earlier. The Minister of National Security was also on earlier. And they were speaking to the diaspora. And one interesting thing about this conference is that diasporans are asking questions of the government of Jamaica because they want more answers to some of the questions that they have for, and a number of things are happening. A couple of weeks ago, during one of my broadcasts, when I was doing a special on the National Land Agency, I had a call. Somebody wanted to know if you're going to will or you're going to gift your property, how is that handled? I wasn't able to answer it because I didn't have the answer today. I am so privileged at this conference. The National Land Agency is here because they understand that Jamaicans in the diaspora, you have a little piece of deadlift. They have a little piece of thing you want to give, or you want to will it, or you want to do something, or you want to come back home and do the house, but then you're not sure how you could be able to do it. I am privileged to have Miss Georgette Stewart Harrison. She is the Senior Director for Land Administration with the National Land Agency of Jamaica. Thank you so much for joining me. My pleasure. Listen, let us shoot off the bat. Let me start with that lady's question. She has a property out in, I think, Boyd, St. Mary somewhere. But she said, I'm not coming back. She says, Mr. Miller, I am 82. I am not coming back to America. I'm not coming back to Jamaica. But I want to give it to somebody. But how do I do this? So tell me, what are the intricacies and the ramifications and for something like that before we get into...
Really just a will, and a will can be done by anyone at any time. It's just a document indicating what you have, who you want to get it, and how it is to be shared. And that document has to be signed in the presence of two witnesses, right? Any two adult witnesses. And sign the document, and it's a valid will, and it's dated valid. So it doesn't need to be complicated. You need to be able to name an executor only. There's a minimum of one executor, but we recommend two, just in case one dies before the other. You'll have someone who can probate your will at the end of the day. So it's really just naming that executor, one, understanding what it is you're willing for your property, and indicating very clearly who you want to get it. So don't say my daughter, for example, say,
okay. If you say my daughter, you say my daughter, Beverly Johnson.
Beverly Johnson. So they know clearly that, especially if you have more than one daughter.
Yes.
That is Beverly
because
Johnson.
There's a family feud that developed from that.
Right. Or if you're doing a motor vehicle, you use chassis number and engine number. That can be clearly defined.
Okay, so there's no mistake that I'm talking about that Morris Oxford.
Right.
Or that Honda Civic.
Right. So there's a will form on the Administrator General's Department's
website. Yeah.
You can download, and you can follow the instructions and do your own will, or you can get an attorney to draft a will for you, prepare a will for you.
Wonderful. So, and it's just a simple will process. Now, in the event that that property, all right, she inherited that property from her father.
Right.
And then because of life take her, she went abroad and now she decided not to come back home. But her father never had a will for it and never had a title for the property. Okay. Just use your comment because you know those days, man, him say, well, him get him friend Thomas. Say, all right, take from the mango tree up to the standpipe. And from the standpipe down to which part the guango tree there. And him have that 15 acres out of 10 acres. That's all right. But then her piece now was never in writing. It's not on paper. It's not a titled property. Right. What kind of challenges are likely to develop there, and how does one handle that?
All right. So when it comes down to land matters, you are required to put things in writing. Mm-hmm. Where you have not put things in writing, then we look on what is called possession. So for unregistered land, mm-hmm. you need to be able to show possession for at least 30 years.
30 years? Mm-hmm.
And there's a principle behind that. Mm-hmm. That you would have needed to be an adult first, mm-hmm. and then on the Limitations Act, mm-hmm. another 12 years added to that, so 18 plus 12. That 30-year period, mm-hmm. that would show that you were in control. So mm-hmm. if her dad died 30 years ago, mm-hmm. even though he hadn't left it in writing, mm-hmm. she can show that she took possession once he died. Mm-hmm. And possession, of course, is not always physical.
No.
Because we have foreigners who are in possession, mm-hmm. so they may have fenced the property, mm-hmm. and they are paying taxes for it. Mm-hmm. And whenever they come to Jamaica, they visit the property, and people know them to be the owner of the property. That mm-hmm. can be considered to be possession.
Okay.
Once you can establish that possession, without the document, she would need two declarants, two persons in the community who need the property, or not necessarily from the community, but knows the property because they may be living overseas themselves now.
Yes, because that's quite because she would have known somebody who might also be in the States or in England, and that sort of thing.
That is fine, as long as the person can speak to the ownership back to 30 years. So they say they knew to belong to Mr. John. Mr. John died in 1970. And when he died, his daughter Pam took it over, and she has been in possession.
Ah, so the person does not have to physically be here in Jamaica. Just be put in writing, and so that person's testimony would have to be certified by a JP or a notary public. Okay, so and it is valid, and it becomes valid.
Right.
Wonderful, interesting. Two declarants.
And then the person who's making the application does a declaration themselves. Mm-hmm. Bear in mind that the person who's making the application doesn't need to be able to speak to the whole 30 years.
No.
Because they could have just bought it recently. Mm-hmm. But the person who are supporting their declaration must be able to speak to it.
It's looking interesting. My conversation is with Miss Georgette Stewart Harrison. She is a senior director in the Department of the National Land Agency of Jamaica, and she's helping us to get some clarity to some very important and salient issues as far as possession of land and how to take possession and so on. Now, there has been this thing banging around in the media recently, and I have another question to you, but I'll be very quick. Adverse possession. What is the story about adverse possession? Because it seems to be a major thing happening now.
Okay. All right. So adverse possession can be a bad thing for some persons, mm-hmm. but it's a good thing for other persons. Mm-hmm. So if someone has a registered piece of land, right, mm-hmm. But they have not visited it for the last 12 years, mm-hmm. they haven't paid any attention to it, they haven't debushed it, but someone else has moved on, they have built a house on it, they have been living on it, they have been treating it as if it belongs to them. Mm-hmm. Neighbors believe it belongs to them based on how they treat this property. What they have done is dispossess the true owner. Mm. Right? And so a Registration of Titles Act actually allows a person who has been in possession for over 12 years in open and undisturbed possession to say, listen, I'm the one who now owns this property. Take the title from the true owner and put my name on as a new owner.
Something can go so?
Yes, it can. And you must remember the reason behind it, because as I said, when you have a piece of land and you don't debush it, mm-hmm. and you have rodents running from your property to your mm-hmm. neighbor's property, or if the grass is so high that mm-hmm. it values the properties of their neighbors, mm-hmm. it becomes a nuisance. And a lot of times these people buy these properties, they don't pay taxes, they never ever come back to Jamaica, they don't visit, they don't pay any attention to these lands. But somebody comes, cleans it up, adds value to it, because they see that there's no way to contact whoever is the owner, and the law thinks it's just that this person should be able to make a claim after a certain time.
But Mrs. Harrison, tell me now, if you have, my aunt died and left a piece of property for me, and I have taken it over, fine, granted now I went down for the funeral, I take over the thing, and then I have been paying the tax, I start paying the taxes in my name. There was a little house on the property, fine. There was a little man living there for a while, half and half, and then he died, and then somebody has taken and they left there, and it was there, and then somebody has creeped into the property, but then I am paying the taxes. And I sent somebody to say, listen, tell Tom Stokes not to stay on the property because it's mine, although I'm not there, blah, blah, blah. Tom Stokes disregard that and tell them don't come there with him, chop them up.
Right.
I am paying the taxes. That's what I think. I decided no, after 9 years, I have decided I want to take over back the property and do something to it and so on. And then when I go there, somebody else is inside there and started to do some little work on some part of it as if to say it belongs to them. And disrespecting me and the team of persons that I want to go there to look after it. But I am paying the taxes. My name is on the tax roll for the property. How do I handle that?
So remember I said in order for the person to pay adverse possession, they have to have open and undisturbed possession. So if someone is on your land and your neighbor call you in England, you say, listen, somebody's putting up a fence, you kind of sit down and not do anything. You call up your lawyer to get an eviction order for this person. If you call the person and say, listen, this is my land, you need to get off, and they ignore you, then you need to get a court order. Because what your court order, court application will do is to say that you have objected. You silently just watch this person and allow them to just take over possession. So they will not open and undisturbed possession. So what happens a lot of times is that the people who live overseas, they pay taxes, and they think because they're paying taxes, they are securing their land. But anyone can pay taxes. I can pay taxes for your land. If I turn to the tax office today, they're not going to ask me whose land it is. They don't care. They'll collect the money and they'll give me a receipt to say paid by George Stuart Harrison. So just paying taxes is not sufficient. You have to show up. It's your land. You have to, take possession and let people know that it's your land. And you're not just sitting around and watching them do whatever they want to do.
But even if you send somebody under the property to warn them, don't stay there, come off the property, and they disregard the warning or send a paper. I know first why I'm speaking like this, because there's a lady I know who have the situation where she sent written notice to the persons, and the people that throw it outside, or they just say don't take it, or they disregard it. They send somebody there to deliver a note and say, nobody for the house is not here. Oh, they're there, And they say, we don't know who you're talking about. Nobody's not here. Right. And they refuse to accept the notice.
One of the other things I want to say too is that you can protect your title because there's something called a caveat. So you have your title and you hear that someone is trying to take over your property, you can lodge a caveat. You don't need to give any explanation to the registrar. You just need to say, this is my property, I hear that someone is trying to take it over. I want notice if anyone tries to make an application. What will happen is that once an application comes in, they are going to call your attorney and give notice to the registrar. Must give notice to your attorney to say someone is attempting to make an application.
Okay, because they would have to make an application.
Right.
I see what you mean.
No caveat on your title. There's nothing to warn. And remember that when you do an adverse possession application, there's a requirement for you to run an advertisement in the papers. Of course, people don't.
Nobody don't see that. Some people don't know what the advertisement looks like.
So they wouldn't know, But so it really is. I want to encourage persons that want to keep a good relationship with your neighbors. When you buy the property, introduce yourself to your neighbors. My name is Mrs. Harrison. I just bought this property. This is my number. Reach out to me if you see anything strange happening over in my house, my yard. When you come, you visit them and you carry a little box ring for them. And again, to encourage them to look at your property. So they'll call you, because everybody have WhatsApp nowadays. I see a man coming over there, they're dropping
stone or marl or sand. Yes.
Yes. That happened. It was 12 years. That person, 12 years, they have to be there in open and undisturbed possession. Bear in mind that people lie and say that they have been in open and undisturbed
for longer than that, or they have never been disturbed.
The act allows you to actually protest if try to have been put in that person's name, and if it's found that the persons were not truthful, they can be fined up to $1 million and imprisonment.
Are you confident that you are the legal owner of your property? Take action to secure your property ownership. Get a registered certificate of title and become the legal owner of your property. To register your property and obtain a certificate of title, you will need to provide a tax registration number (TRN), a valid government issued identification, a survey diagram, documentation to prove ownership, up-to-date property tax certificate, the names, addresses, and occupations of 2 neighbors over the age of 50 who are not family members and can give a declaration on your behalf, proof that you have been in open, undisturbed, and undisputed possession of the property for 12 years or more. For further information on registering your property and obtaining a certificate of title, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us at WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better. Living on or in possession of family land? Do you want to sell or subdivide the property? Use eLand Jamaica to search for details on the property. You can complete a title search and verify the owner before you sell the property. If your name does not appear on the title, register the land or clarify the existing title in your name before you sell. A title is a notice to the world of your ownership of land. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. The National Land Agency, one agency, one goal to serve you better.
Right? So, yeah.
So there are those little situations to be able to help the person who's the property owner to get some kind of support and defense. Right. My conversation with Georgette Stewart Harrison, and she's a senior director in the Department of Land at the Ministry of Land and Environment, and quite a number of titles within that ministry. And she's giving us some very serious and information and insights into how to deal with your property if you are in the diaspora and you have not been paying attention, how to pay attention. Right? So the whole business of, so that's one of the things that diaspora needs to pay attention to, I would imagine.
Yes.
What are some of the other things that diasporans need to look at seriously when it comes to their property, whether it is business places or they're just dwelling house or just empty land?
Right. So again, one of the things I find is that, as you indicated, there are persons who would have gotten lands from family lands.
Family land.
And these family lands are coming to a generation, but they're documentary. So your dad left it for you, but you didn't probate the will. Or your dad died without making a will, and you didn't go to the court to get a letter of administration in the estate. So there's no document to show it passing from the original owner to you, right? So put you now in a position so you can apply for a title, or put you in a position so you can sell a property or do business with your property, as it may be. And so those are some of the concerns. I have also found that when I was in private practice that I'd have clients come to me after they went ahead and bought property without the guidance of an attorney, bought land that didn't belong to the person who sold them.
Oh Lord.
Bought land that was already sold to someone else. And so I said, yes, it's going to cost you to get a consultation, but it's worth, having a proper consultation done so your attorney can do a title check, confirm one, that the title really in fact belongs to the person who's proposing to sell to you. So you're not buying from a sister when the land belongs to another, or you're not buying from a daughter when it belongs to her father, which typically happens all the time, or you're not buying from someone who may own it but have no document to support how they own it. So getting that consultation, spending that initial money for that consultation, I also advise persons to get an attorney who specializes in conveyance and in land law, because not all attorneys
that.
in a particular area, so that your sale agreement protects you. Your sale agreement allow you to come out if something's not working. Your sale agreement allows a redress if the sale falls through. You know, so you can fix things if it needs be. You know, I tell persons I'm an attorney at law.
Okay.
And when I was buying my house, I had an attorney.
Okay.
That's how serious it is.
Yes,
That's one of the downfalls of Jamaicans. We treat buying land like we're buying a patty, and it's a big investment. You know, so it ought to be taken seriously when you're dealing with it.
What is the easiest and quickest way somebody in the diaspora can use to call the lands department and make a larger complaint, make a report in terms of my land is not titled and I need to get a title for my land and I want to be able to sell it. I want to be able to pass it on to somebody. What are some of the things that what's a one-stop shop or a 1, 2, 3 for diasporans to bear in mind?
First step is you need to get a survey. So that's step one. Once you have the land, you know it's your land. You may not even have the documentation, but it's your land. Get a surveyor to do a diagram that demarks your boundary, so we know where north, east, south, west of you. Because we can't assist you without a survey diagram, right? And now the Registration of Titles Act allows for a little draft, but the registrar has not been accepting that because what we have found is that when we do, we have dual registration. In other words, you have one title, two titles for one piece of land.
One piece of land. And everybody claims that this is a real title.
Right. But that's why a survey is so important. So get your survey done. Once you have your survey done, then you can come into us at the Arden Road to the Land Administration Management Division. Right? Now, we specifically act under a special act which was passed in 2005. And this act was passed because we recognize that the average person really had challenges in obtaining a title. It's very expensive to obtain a title.
Yes, indeed.
Right? So we're talking about survey costs. Typical quarter-acre survey is 110,000 Jamaican dollars.
Just like that?
Just like that, right? And you know, typical person in the country have a 1 acre land. So at 500,000.
Looking at 500, oh my God, yes.
So it's a turn off for a lot of persons. In the past, we've joined up with BM who has been gracious enough, who had in the past been gracious enough to pay for surveys on behalf of persons, you know, and then they would send them on to us. That collaboration has now ended.
Okay.
You know, and we are seeking more corporate persons to come
on board.
To assist us, to assist our clients to take care of this upfront cost, which is a major deterrent. The second thing is that persons are also getting small pieces from bigger pieces. My grandfather had 1 acre of land and he has now left with 4 children.
Oh Lord.
4 quarter acres of one. It's a subdivision. And a subdivision requires your surveyor surveying the entire 1 acre, cutting out each of the quarter acres, doing your blueprint and sending it to parish councils, and the parish council can then send to the other agencies, sign off on NEPA, Water Commission, all these people. It's a long process.
So it's a long process.
It's a long time. It's very expensive because I don't want roads involved and
but your cost might outweigh the value of the property.
Don't outweigh the value of the property.
Okay.
But it's difficult for people to come up with that kind of money in reality, you know.
So the lands department actually carry the process through on behalf of any client who applies it.
Our clients, we treat them like we're like a law firm. You're coming to us, we work for you.
A lot of people didn't know this.
Yes, and we have even gone a little further. The law actually allows us to certify attorneys. So we have been certifying the attorneys every quarter. In fact, because we do it every quarter, we are now having to do 2 per quarter. We used to do 1 per quarter because it's such a big demand. We train the attorneys, we train them how to do the documents so they're not rejected. And then once they prepare the documents on behalf of their clients and be certified, that makes it move a lot quicker because I have 10 attorneys and we work for the entire.
And at the lands department?
At my department. So we have 10 divisions in the National Land Agency. So my division is just 1 division, Land Administration Management Division. So I have 10 lawyers and we're responsible for all parishes, save and except for parts of Kingston and St. Andrews. So typically we get 300 to 400 new matters per month. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that it's such a magnitude of a task?
It is. It is because we are doing legal work for all these persons. However, as I said, we are training the attorneys all over the island. And so clients can know, instead of waiting on us, they can go straight to their attorneys. Their attorneys will still charge them their legal fees, but they'll get a reduction in the registration fees, they'll get a reduction on waivers. So I was telling you about the waiver. They're cutting off a small piece out of a bigger piece. If you can show us that you have had an informal subdivision for over 7 years, you can write to the minister for a waiver for you.
Okay.
So that $1 million that you have to spend for subdivision approval, we will charge you $20,000 for that waiver. So that's one of the benefits that our clients get. Our clients get the benefit, as I said, of reduced legal fees and reduced registration fees. And we also assist clients to establish the preliminary. So, as I indicated, someone died, made a will, the will needs to be probated. You have to get a lawyer to take the matter to court to get a probate application done. We do that at LAM for our clients.
So you have this multifaceted approach in terms of the ideas. So the idea, so let me get you through the door to get this together. And all this takes place at LAM.
At LAM. What normally keeps back our clients from coming to the survey. So I say, get a survey, guys, and come to us. We'll take it from there once you have the survey. And
you are a fraction of the cost of what the outside expenses are.
Yes. And we don't treat you any less because you're paying less. We're just as efficient. You know, it may take a lot longer in some instances because, as I indicated,
you have a number of other cases working it.
Working on. Right?
But so if I'm in the diaspora, but I'm not able to come to Jamaica to go through all of the ramifications and to jump all the hurdles, once I can write to you and give you specific and definite information.
Right. So you have to have an agent. So you need to appoint a local
agent to act on your behalf.
And that person can come in and do it.
And deliver the information and documents and then you go through that process.
Further, we bring our offices to our clients. So once per month, my lawyers and legal paralegals go out. We go to Portland once per month. At the end of each month, we go to St. Thomas, go to St. Mary. We used to go to St. Catherine, but we find that the St. Catherine persons are coming into office.
Coming to Kingston, so
we have moved the St. Catherine office to Manchester so that the people from West and
and those other neighboring areas can access you.
So what we do is when we prepare documents, for example, for our clients, we know they're in St. Mary. We take it to St. Mary. Say, come and meet us at the St. Mary office. Take a bus all the way from.
And you walk them through the process there, and that's what. While you see new clients there at the same time.
Taking new clients, open files for new clients at the same time. So we give them the documents. We say, go get them signed. We're coming back next month. Bring it back. Next month they bring it back to us. We process it. You know, and we have online payments, so they don't need to come in office. We have a bank account that they can do their payments. Once they send receipt to us by email or WhatsApp, we verify it and we're able to continue their matter.
So wonderful. So you do have quite an efficient and organized support service with the National Land Agency, and you don't have to necessarily be all the poorest of the poor. You just have to be somebody who needs that kind of a technical support system to get it all done in order to be able to get acquisition of the land.
The benefit is for every Jamaican who has property that falls within one of these project areas. And as I indicated, all parishes in Jamaica, save and except for parts of Kingston
and St. Andrew,
have been declared. So once you have properties in that area, I am not going to be paying an attorney $400,000 property.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Go to land and pay quarter of that amount. I would not do it. So I don't know if anyone else wants to.
No, you're here to hear from the attorney herself, Miss. Was it Bridget? Georgette Stewart Harrison, who is the Senior Director in the National Land Agency of Jamaica, giving us all of this wealth of information. And we're just scratching the surface. She was just warming up, in actual fact. But we have to stop it there for today. But I will be in touch with the Land Department. And of course, you know, we have been doing some information and doing some advertising and some promotions for them. We're going to be doing some much more work. We're going to be going to the LAMP office. We're going to go there, watch them walk through the documentation. From someone comes in to
when they're leaving out and follow through, and so that you can get a clear view and a clear understanding as to how the mechanics of the process works and how you, wherever you are, can really take possession of your property. And then for those of you who want to give it as a gift or want to now later on come down and do some business or to use it for security for other things else, you'll be able to know how to move from there with that. Miss Georgette Harrison, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having you.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.